All right, guys, so I seen this video floating around the internet and I'm just getting around to reacting to it. But it is a video of a white liberal trying to convince a so-called black woman that she is oppressed. And the reason why I'm saying so-called is because this woman is actually African, it sounds like, right? It sounds like she's actually an immigrant, but she calls herself a black woman. And the reason why I'm not surprised by her reaction to this white liberal is because she's probably an immigrant, okay? And I've done a video about this, I think once or twice on my channel, about how the mindsets of immigrants, even though the ones that are from Africa, even the ones that are black, they're just different than black people over here in this country. They don't deal with the victimhood mentality because they actually know what it's like to live in a country where you do not have any opportunity, where no matter how hard you work, no matter how many risks you take, no matter what you do, you can't dig yourself out of poverty or in the bad situation you're in because the country is just that poor, right? The corruption is just that bad, okay? So when they come over here to America, they work really hard, and a lot of them are successful because they realize that there's so much opportunity over here, and they have the work ethic, the drive, and the mentality that you need to be successful. So, you know, in my experience, a lot of these immigrants and children of these immigrants have no sympathy for movements like Black Lives Matter, where you have a lot of black people in this country complaining how there's not opportunity and how they're victims, because again, they come over here with nothing and they still manage to succeed and become very successful and to raise their children with the same habits that made them successful, and then their kids become successful, right? So again, I'm not surprised at all by this woman's reaction. I want to react to it. And if she's not actually an immigrant or a child of a family that just immigrated over here to the United States or something like that, then I apologize, right, for stereotyping based off her accent, because that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm definitely making that assumption. But regardless, what I'm saying still applies here to, you know, this video and also how immigrants you know, go about trying to navigate this so-called systemically racist country versus black people. But before I get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can do so using the links in the description below. You can support the Patreon, you support the PayPal, you support the merch. There are multiple ways to support the channel if you would like to do so. And in the spirit of this video, you can also support the channel by getting yourself one of my BLM shirts, right? My Bill Large Mansion shirt from my website, gforemanbcp.com. Use discount code gforemanbcp for 20% off. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
So what are you fighting for? What are you fighting for? You're not here to fight injustice. You're here to cause drama.
Message will be stop violence. It's not about blacks.
In a unicorn world. That's not a unicorn world.
Period.
Okay, since you're so...
You guys have to claim blacks are oppressed. I am black. I'm not oppressed. I am free.
That's good for you.
They don't like to hear that, bruh. White liberals, especially white liberals, don't like to hear that black people are free because, to be quite honest with you, again, I hate using this term, but it's so true. They want black people to be mentally enslaved on a Democrat plantation because that is how you maintain control over a whole group of people, right? If they think that they're enslaved, then you can control them just like a slave. And this is why I get so annoyed by people who always want to talk about slavery and what happened with slavery. And I'm just like, bro, it happened. Get over it, right? Move on with your life. You personally, individually have not been affected by it. Make the best out of your current situation. That is the mentality that you need to overcome whatever lasting effects on society that slavery may have. And I'm not convinced that at the individual level, anybody is really being affected by slavery or still being affected by slavery.
That's an individual person. What about a systemic issue?
Where? I am black. I've always wanted to be. I have like I do what I want. You have the skills. This is a country where you have the skills. You want to do what you want. You do it. Stop forcing on people to accept that they're oppressed. They are not. I am not oppressed. I am black. Stop making people accept that they're oppressed. You're forcing a rhetoric into your minds, which is not true. That's my point. Okay. Violence is wrong, period. It's not about blacks.
Yeah, so again, the whole oppression thing, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? When you tell people you're oppressed, you got it bad, you're behind in this country simply because of your skin color, that is ingrained in people's heads mentally. And that has a subconscious effect on how people act and perceive themselves, right? Instead of just telling yourself, I'm not oppressed, I can achieve whatever I want to achieve if I work hard enough, you may not land on the stars, but you might land on the moon, right? I'm just saying. When you have the mentality that I can succeed no matter what obstacles are in my way, that is going to be better for overcoming the so-called systemic racism that, again, let's be honest, these people have failed to point out, right? Like when you ask them, okay, which laws are systemically racist, they never have an example, right? They can never give you a systemically racist law, right? But they keep telling you how the system is so racist, okay? And how we need to tear down the system. But what about the system is racist, right? And every time they do give you a so-called racist policy, a systemically racist policy, they always name Democrat policies, like redlining, right? Which came from the New Deal. FDR, the progressives' daddy, right? The godfather of the Progressive Party. FDR, he came up with the OG systemically racist policy, okay? When they always complain about the disparity between sentencing for cracking cocaine, who did all that? Joe Biden and his drug bill, right? Biden did that. All the black people got locked up during the 80s and the 90s. Biden was responsible for that. Now, some of that was good. Okay, I'll give Joe Biden credit for some of that, specifically the crime bill. But I'm just saying, a lot of things they complain about are Democrat policies. And when they're not complaining about that and you ask them, okay, well, what is systemically racist today? What policy in the book today is systemically racist? They don't have any. They have none at all.
You agree that whites kill black whites too, right? Have you seen any white person coming out and saying white life matter or white thing? No.
Yeah, because whites, they don't protest for the worst among them, right? They don't protest for their criminals, right? They're smart enough to realize, hey, you know what? We're not going to come out here and, stomp and potentially get beat up by police and go to jail over people who were negative impacts on our community, right? There were negative impacts on society that were hurting other people, right? No other community of people does that besides black people. Hispanics don't do it. Asians don't do it. White people don't do it. Indians don't do it, right? Nobody does that except black people. Black people, we praise the worst among us. We put the worst among us on a pedestal and we deify them, a la George Floyd, right? I mean, he's essentially become a deity, okay? And again, this is why we're not going anywhere. As long as we continue to deify and to worship and praise criminals because they got shot by white police officers, yeah, we're going nowhere fast. We're going nowhere fast.
Violence is wrong.
They literally do all the time. Every time there's a Black Lives Matter protest, a white person.
It's not a problem. It's a violence problem. The blacks kill blacks in black neighborhoods every single day. I've never seen a Black Lives Matter in those neighborhoods.
Facts. You will never see them in Chicago. You will never see them in Chicago. Every single weekend, you have a mass shooting. Okay, dozens of mass shootings. But you don't see anything, right, from the left. Right? They're not out in the streets boohoo, whining and crying and demanding change, demanding that Lori Lightfoot step down for the terrible job that she's doing. No, they don't do any of that. But again, if it's something that happens as a mass shooting that involves a white person, though, they're out here, stomping in the streets, demanding gun control, right? Demanding an end to white supremacy. Okay, they got a whole lot to say about events that are very rare and that statistically aren't really real issues. Yes, they happen. They get a lot of attention because mainstream media gives them attention. But in the grand scheme of things, compared to other forms of violence, okay, we're talking about black on black violence. Okay, we talk about gang violence. Those instances are just one-offs, right? They're one-offs. They're statistical anomalies, right? It's almost like they're guaranteed to happen in a nation where you have a population of 300 million people. Yeah, you're going to have, racist lunatics, commit mass shootings. Now, that's not to undermine those things and to downplay it. No, but I'm just saying, we got to focus on, well, what is killing the most people? That is not what's killing the most people. White supremacy, white people are not black people's problems when it comes to black lives. Okay? You got to look in the mirror and to figure out the problem, because that's what the problem is.
Never. You know what they say? When the black person kill a black in a black neighborhood, they come out and they say, when the police comes, you know what they tell the police? Snitches get stitches.
Facts. Snitches get snitches. I've talked about this. The no snitching culture in the hood is a detriment. Okay, it is one of the biggest problems that we have, and why we have so much violence in these communities, because these criminals have been emboldened by the fact they know that it is unlikely for them to get caught when they kill somebody or when they commit a violent crime, because nobody's gonna say anything about it, Nobody's going to tell the police. Nobody's going to help the police. And then the murder's going to go unsolved. And then you have people like Joy Reid boohoo whining and complaining on TV when a white person go missing or a white woman goes missing, and the black women that go missing don't get any attention. However, when the black women go missing, nobody in the neighborhood wants to say anything about it, even though they know who did it, right? Or they have some clues about what may have happened. But they want to blame, only, the pretty white woman gets attention. When, again, you're not even giving attention to the black women that go missing in this country. Again, a lot of the issues that are facing these communities, again, they are self-inflicted, very self-inflicted. But it's easy to point the finger at everybody else and say, you're the problem. And the reason why I'm in my bad situation at an individual level is because of society, it's because of the system, instead of just taking ownership and responsibility and pulling yourself up by your bootstraps.
I know that. Okay. Snitches get stitches. But if a white person kill a black person, Black Lives Matter. Stop the hypocrisy. Nobody takes this seriously. Nobody. If it matters, it should matter in black neighborhoods. You start cleaning at home.
So why don't you go?
You start the trees at home.
Why don't you start?
I'm not carrying anything saying Black Lives Matter. I know I matter.
Why don't you start?
You guys are wasting everybody's time.
Facts. I love seeing white liberals get set straight. Because, again, they have this paternalistic relationship with black people where they believe that they are the gatekeepers of what it means to be black, right? And what black people should be protesting about, what they should care about, okay? And simply, a lot of times, again, these white liberals are leading black people down the wrong path to care about things that are really a waste of time and a waste of energy. They're a deflection from the real problems, because if you actually solve the real problems, then there will be no dependence on the white liberals and the Democrat Party. It's really that simple. So that was an amazing interaction that I wanted to react to, and I'm just getting around to doing it. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.